All right, cool. So let's start off talking about your writing process. I know that you started off with multiple characters for the movie, so can you talk about the inception of the idea and how it evolved into just Kayla?
Yeah, it was really it's hard to even call it the movie. It wasn't like the movie then. I was just writing a bunch of stuff, just thinking like, let me just write a bunch of things about different things and see if I'm writing one thing. And then I sort of stumbled on her voice and realized that I kind of could say everything I wanted through her, and she deserved her own movie. And I think I wanted to talk about the internet and loneliness, and it makes sense to make one character for a story about loneliness, I think.
Sure. So in terms of the internet and loneliness, do you think that there's possibility, having spoken to all these 8th graders, is there a possibility for moderation? Or do you think that as humans we have such addictive personalities that, social media and the internet is just kind of a bad thing in a lot of ways?
Oh no, I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's a way for self-expression, and it also gives visibility to people that don't have visibility. It's the problem with the internet. It's both things. It's good and bad. Like if it was just bad, it'd be so much easier to address. It's actually beautiful and powerful, and has the power to save the world or burn it down and connect us all or isolate us all and overstimulate us and numb us. So there's so much.
And it was that complicated relationship that got you sort of writing in the first place.
Exactly, and I just wanted to portray it. I didn't really want to theorize on it or present a solution to it. Just go this is how it feels, and this makes me feel a little anxious and unsure.
Sure.
And it makes me feel 13 years old.
Right. Yeah. And I know this was kind of a cathartic experience for you making this movie. So was the original writing you did almost like journaling, or did you have a creative project kind of in the back of your head, or?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it was always this. I mean, it was always just writing things. I mean, and it ends up being cathartic just in the way the writing process is cathartic. But, you discover yourself in it usually. For me, I discover myself in it after I write it, not before. It's like you just try to write things that interest you, and then eventually you go I guess I keep writing about the same things or similar things in a certain way that must say something about me.
If you were to die today,
oh my God,
what would your legacy be, and how do you think that might be at odds with who you truly are or want to be?
I hope my legacy would be an anti-legacy of someone who doesn't. I have found that if I think of myself in those terms, it doesn't lead anywhere good. I used to be working to have a legacy, working to have an oeuvre, working so that when I was 70 I could look back and everyone would think I'd have some dope career, but that doesn't lead anywhere good for me. The only actual thing I enjoy is making things and just keeping my head down and doing what I'm doing, and trying to do that sort of meta attending to your career. It just leads for me nowhere good. It just leads to anxiousness and it's not healthy to think of yourself like that, I don't think. So if I die today, I'll be dead.
Good answer. When did that switch flip for you? When did you decide that wasn't healthy?
Probably 24, 25-ish, around there. I mean, the seeds of it were always there, but at a certain point I kind of realized that just in general, I had to let go, and I had to stop trying to present the world with things that I've figured out and things that I knew, but rather present the world with things I'm struggling with and things I don't know. And that's when I felt like I matured as an artist or whatever, is when I realized that I should present people with the things I'm currently struggling with, and not the things I've figured out. And that's just realizing that the audience is as smart as you are and as deep as you are. And they can have they can have the conversations you're having, and you can let them into that. You're not there to teach them or instruct them. But for me,
you mentioned in the New Yorker that your work is always a repudiation of your previous work, and I'm wondering if the goal is to make everyone like you.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Is that everyone's goal? Kind of. It's never going to work. I mean, it's not a perfect repudiation of everything. I'm saying I think this movie is similar to Make Happy. It's a joke, but also yeah, sure. I mean, it's never and not going to happen. And I really know I'm not for everybody, and I actually prefer not being for everybody. It makes for a much more navigatable life.
Sure. Do you ever feel, the expectations of your career as an entertainer kind of making people laugh, shocking people sometimes? do you feel like those expectations ever compromise your own artistic intentions?
No, I mean, you know, it's you know, people. No, I don't think so. I mean, you feel that pressure, but you know, you try to just do what you want. I mean, no one wanted me to make a movie about a 13-year-old girl, certainly. That wasn't like
Sure.
what that wasn't what the market was demanding. Yeah, but yeah, you know, it's a constant struggle in the dialogue with the audience to want to, you know, want to provide something for them and yet want to not listen to them, you know, to want to be completely free and yet also to make things that it's hard. You want to communicate with people. You want people to like things. That's the whole reason you make things. But also, like, you can't just make something for them, or it's not. I don't know. It's complicated.
Sure. Yeah. I just feel like as a comedian, after a while, people must start, you know, just being like, hey, do something funny, be funny.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Tell me a joke. Yeah.
A lot more of it is contextual, probably.
The good thing is my comedy got very sad and weird, so then everyone's just like, be sad and weird, and I'm like, already on it.
Yeah. Do you ever sense the possibility of audience usurping your identity as an entertainer, or kind of you know, defining you for yourself?
I'm past that a little. I mean, I'm not doing stand-up right now, so I don't invest myself in that relationship like I used to. Sure, though. Sure. Those are good questions.
And
I think they're good questions, better than things I don't like to even answer. I'm saying, not that I don't like to. I like to ask more questions than I like to answer, which is hilarious. I'm saying this in an interview, but I'm saying that's a great question. I don't know the answer to it.
That's kind of the essence I'm getting at, though, the repudiation of your past work and, you know, deciding.
I'm just trying to make a cool thing now. I mean, like, I'm not trying to, like, pull a wool over people's eyes or, again, like, trying to game the audience by being like the art becomes dead if the art is just like one chess move in the game of your career. Like, that's pretty shitty, you know what I mean? That, like, this is fucking rook to e7, and it's like, no, well, how do you just make something to be free and to connect with people and to express yourself? And so that's what I try to do. Like, when I was making the movie, I was just thinking about the movie and the people I was making it with, and just making something that I wanted to see. And that's the best it can. That's when it's best. I mean, when I'm here, though, I'll sling it for the people.
That's what it seemed. It seems like you succeeded in doing that.
And slinging it for the people.
Yeah, slinging it for the people, but also for yourself, freeing yourself by targeting maybe the source of the anxiety, which, you know, the questions I was asking you are kind of trying to get at that.
Yeah.
Maybe where it was coming from as a result of, like, all the pressure.
It's unfair for me to put it on the back of just the circumstances, because that's part of the movie too. Is that, like, I was convinced that I'm anxious because I'm a comedian with an audience, but also I'm anxious because I'm an anxious person, and my sister is, and it runs my family, and I'm wired that way, and I'd be anxious anywhere. And the anxiety I have is no dissimilar than a 13-year-old girl's anxiety. Like, so that's part of it too, is to realize, like, this anxiety isn't some cool shit you have because you live a dope life. It's also just like, you suffer from anxiety like other people suffer from anxiety. If someone sprains their ankle at the Super Bowl, they still have a fucking sprained ankle. They just gotta ice it. You know, so that's part of it, is to pursue the common feeling, and actually to obliterate the idea between an audience and me in terms of going, like, a lot of my audience was. People said I was a comedian for 13-year-old girls, and I was terrified of that. And then at some point I was like, fuck yeah, I am. You know, so this is like, you're no different than me, and we'll see each other in ourselves, and, you know, something like that.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely got that out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
How about, why do you think your anxiety manifested at this particular age? You said you've always been anxious, but...
It's funny, it didn't really at this age. For me, it was sophomore year of high school. Because I think boys just, like, if the self-awareness comes, like, a couple years later, not to be cruel generally, but that's the sense I get. I was more of, like, a hammy loser in 8th grade. And then eventually I became sophomore year of high school, like, so kind of became like, ooh. But yeah, this movie's much more an exploration of my current feelings as opposed to my feelings when I was in 8th grade.
Sure. And you were so good at directing other comedians. Where did those directing skills come from and what did you maybe take from that and bring on to the future?
Working on my own specials, the crew of that special is a lot of my own crew that had worked on my own specials and worked in the movie. I don't know, I mean, just being attentive. Really, I directed Gerard Carmichael's and Chris Rock's, and I just love both of them, so like it's very easy to, I just wanted to give the audience at home the experience of what it felt like to watch them there, which is very special. And yeah, when you learn from them, you learn how to service the person on camera, because they're the most important person in the special by far, way more important than you. So you learn how to service the person, which is important. You learn how to get as much out of a single look as possible. You have to have one look that can be shot for an hour, so you really learn how to squeeze every possible bit of value out of a space. And then just making things. I think making anything prepares you. Making things prepares you to make things, even if those two things are different.
Cool. And you see yourself, what's the next cathartic movie you need to make for your own well-being?
I wish I knew. I'll know after this. I'm not good at multitasking. I'll disappear for a little bit and start thinking about it.
Cool.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.